Hello, we're in Easthampton, Massachusetts. We're in a cemetery here called the St. Stanislaus Bishop and Martyrs Cemetery, made 100 years ago, 1924. And I'm at a special section. There's always special sections in cemeteries, especially Catholic cemeteries. And this is the non-baptized baby section. And I estimate there's 140 babies in here. Over the course of 100 years, you're going to have a lot of situations where maybe the baby, didn't live more than 3 weeks or didn't live more than a day, and they weren't baptized. Now, in the Catholic religion, you have to put them in a special section, which was never concentrated as being holy by the bishop. Now, he would come to every church, every school, every cemetery that was Catholic and bless it when it was open. And he would have done it this here, and he was specifically said there's a section right here that would not be blessed. And that would be for the non-baptized babies. Still allowed in the cemetery, and that's great, but every Catholic cemetery will have this. In this one, you only see 5 stones I could find, and yet there's about 140 babies. Well, most people 100 years ago couldn't afford the stones, and even now, it's hard to pay $200, $300, even for the most basic stone. And what you see in front of you, this is Maria Mazzina. She only lived 1 year, 1924 to 1925. There is in back Teresa Grabowski that didn't even live 1 year. There's a Donald Plord who wasn't even Polish, and he's still baptized here. He was about 9 years old. I read about him. He caught something equivalent to the flu, and he died. And he was baptized here because he lived very close by, and his parents didn't want to have him baptized as a saint at the other cemetery in town that was Catholic. And so you have an unusual situation of a French-Canadian and ethnic person. And there's one in the back, can't read, but there's a motto in the back also that's for a twin. And it says right on the twin of Raymond, and gives the year 1931, but I guess his brother lived. That's great. So this is filled with children. In fact, the first 2 burials inside of here are both children in the whole cemetery, and they're back, and one of them is back here. So there is a member, a baby that lived long enough. He lived past a year, and he's buried with his parents' plot. It's called the Siach family. He's buried towards the front of the cemetery. He's the first burial inside this cemetery. Right? So being the first burial is kind of an honor, but he was only 1 year old. His name is not on the parents' gravestone though. The second death ever is back here, and there's no stone also, but he was the second burial ever in this cemetery, and that happened, of course, in 1923, and that baby was died October 24th, 1924. Very long time ago. Okay, so in this situation, they're all over the place here. So every Catholic cemetery has this, and I find people that are disturbed by that, but you shouldn't be, because at least they're buried with the other burials around this section. Now, I said there's always special sections. Every Catholic cemetery has 3 or 4 special sections. This is one. This cemetery does not have a potter's field, because the reason is that the fraternal group of the Polish must have been so strong financially that they were able to bury every person that didn't have enough money. And that's great, because you can go around here, you can't find a potter's field for the paupers. Some cemeteries you can find them. Another special section, and I have a special video for that, but I'll point it out. By that chapel, there's 2 priests buried, and also the superintendent of grounds. And he's buried there because that's a priest circle. And that's a 3rd section. Every Catholic cemetery is going to have a section where most of the priests can be. Now, I mentioned a 4th section, and we'll point that out towards the next road in. There's 2 burials that I'll point out on the tour I give, and they're also on the map I made and put on the internet. These are the 2 people that donated the land for this cemetery. they by design got a free deed. And that's because when this happens, when you donate the land for a cemetery or for the church, you get a free deed coming along with it, so you're going to be buried in a place of honor. And so towards the front here, there's two families that are buried, and one of them, I believe it's called Popolarski family, and that was the family that donated the land for the church. And then also the Tomarowski family, and they donated the land for the cemetery. And in fact, I believe that house in the distance is Modern House. That's also in the former land of that family. And I noticed that the family is from Texas. I've never seen activity there. So someday, maybe that land will be sold to the cemetery and it'll get even bigger. So thank you very much.